on BBC radio and television, including the famous long-running British children's television programme Blue Peter. Every year, the Quarry Park holds an annual flower show festival in the late summer. This is the longest-running horticultural show in the world, with the first event being held back in 1875. Another notable feature of Shrewsbury is the number of original black and white timber-framed medieval and Tudor buildings. These are notable due to their distinctive look and overhanging floor levels. Many of these buildings have been lost in other towns and cities due to damage from fire or demolition between the 1940s to the 1960s to make way for newer developments. Shrewsbury currently has over 600 of these iconic buildings listed with preservation orders. As we navigate around Frankwell Island, the road leading away to the right of the bus shelter towards Welshpool is known as the Mount. Further up the Mount, just out of sight to the right, is the house of Charles Darwin, born in 1809. His father, Robert Darwin, was a doctor in Shrewsbury, and his mother, Susanna, was one of the Wedgwood pottery dynasty. In later life, Darwin rejected a career in medicine before accepting a post on the ship HMS Beagle as their naturalist. It was during his observations on the voyage that he believed that species had evolved from one another. When he returned back to England in 1836, he spent many years collecting further evidence before he published his book in 1859, The Origins of Species. The book caused an uproar in Victorian society, where he was denounced by the religious establishment and leaving the scientific community split. Whilst Darwin wasn't the first to write about evolution, he was the first to present detailed evidence to suggest the process of natural selection. The book went on to change people's views of the natural world. Charles Darwin died in 1882 and is buried in the Westminster Abbey, London. On the left, adjacent to the River Severn, is a piece of modern art, designed to look like a vertebrate or the helix of a DNA strand. The work was erected in 2009 to celebrate the bicentenary of the birth of Charles Darwin, officially called Quantum Leap. The sculpture has the local nickname of Slinky. In Shrewsbury Castle. This was founded in 1074 by Roger de Montgomery and was built on land in the pinch point of the River Severn Loop. The other side of the river is just behind the castle. This made for a good defensive point, which at the time was the only entrance into Shrewsbury, as the whole town was enclosed by the river. Shrewsbury was constantly under attack by the Welsh trying to capture the town, the most notorious being King Llewellyn II, who after many years and battles was killed in 1282. His brother David was also defeated a year later and brought to Shrewsbury to be hung. Adjacent to the castle is Shrewsbury railway station, which was built in 1848 for the Birmingham, Shrewsbury and Chester railways, originally as a two-storey building. The station's forecourt used to slope upwards until in the beginning of the 1900s, when it was lowered to the present course and the station building extended downwards. Shrewsbury railway station has the distinction of having the largest mechanical working signal box in the world, which is still hand operated 24/7 by railway engineers based in the box, an operational practice that even in the 21st century has not changed since the days of steam trains. Adjacent to the large building on your right is the bronze statue of Charles Darwin, sitting in his armchair. The building was originally the home of the Shrewsbury School, where Darwin attended. In more modern times, it now houses the town's public library. Church, which dates from Saxon times and is said to have the third largest spire in England. In 1739, showman Robert Campman attempted to slide down the spire head first using a rope and grooved wooden sledge. Robert was not blessed with success. His engraved obligatory stands outside the west door of the church. Shrewsbury has many passageways dating from medieval times, leading from one street to another. In Shropshire, these passageways are known as shuts, of which many of them are named after the services they provided. As we pass over the English Bridge, in front of the railway bridge to the left used to be the home of Shrewsbury Town Football Club's ground, the Gay Meadow. Flats are now built on the former site. The name Gay Meadow comes from the land's former use as a fairground. The club was formed in 1886 and before moving to the site was based around the Sutton Lane and Copthorne suburbs of town. Being close to the town centre was ideal for local supporters and players alike. However, there was a curse. Being so close to the River Severn, the stadium was prone to flooding, with numerous games being called off due to a waterlogged pitch. After 97 years at Gay Meadow, the club finally moved to its new grounds, the Greenhouse Meadow, in the Mill Brace district of Shrewsbury in 2007. On your right is the former site of Abbey Foregate Railway Station, the remains of which, including the station building and platform, can be seen on the far left of the car park. The line has had an unfortunate history, opening and closing on numerous occasions. Originally known as the Potteries, the Shrewsbury and North Wales Railway never actually reached its full potential, and only ran between Shrewsbury and Lammonach, when it opened in August 1866. The line reopened in December 1868. However, financial problems occurred once again, resulting in a receiver being appointed in 1877, and total closure of the line came 3 years later. Following local pressure, a new company called Shropshire and Montgomeryshire Light Railway Company Limited was formed. One of its lead directors was Colonel Stevens, who took over responsibility for the line as well as many other light railway systems around the United Kingdom. The line between Shrewsbury and Lanark was reopened in April 1911, with a ceremony being conducted by the mayor on the roof of a train at Abbey Station. From September 1939, the railway came under control of the Railway Executive and was requisitioned by the War Department to aid the war effort. The War Department stopped running the line in 1960. Ahead is Lord Hill's column. Lord Rowland Hill was born in 1772 in nearby Prees Hall, one of 16 children. Rowland Hill attended a military academy in Strasbourg at the age of 18, as he felt he did not make the cut in law despite his father's faults. He distinguished himself in the war against Napoleon Bonaparte's occupation of Spain in 1808. This was where Generals Lord Hill and the Duke of Wellington started working together. As a general, Lord Hill did what he could for his men during the campaign, earning the nickname Daddy Hill because of his kindness. He then fought at the Battle of Waterloo on June 18, 1815, being second in command to the Duke of Wellington. During the battle, Lord Hill had his horse shot from under him, but still managed to lead his army to victory, defeating Napoleon. The column was erected here between 1814 and 1816 to celebrate his actions in the various battles as a national hero. Lord Hill was the Commander-in-Chief of the British Army from 1828 until he passed away in 1842 and is buried in nearby Hampton. Lord Hill's statue stands on the tallest Doric column in the world, standing at 133 foot and 6 inches tall. Shrewsbury Abbey was founded in 1083. It was the priest of St. Peter who, after returning from a pilgrimage to Rome, persuaded Roger de Montgomery, who later became the Earl of Shrewsbury, to raise the profile of the church to an abbey, when Roger brought 2 monks over from Normandy to direct the building of the church. Although the abbey flourished in the 12th century, the monks felt that their monastery was incomplete without a saint's shrine to attract pilgrims and their wealth. The monks looked around Shropshire and the borderlands for a suitable candidate. After looking deeper into Wales, they found a saint who was dedicated and pure. An expedition in 1138 was led into Snowdonia, where the bones of St. Winifred were brought back to the abbey and enshrined with great ceremony. Her Holiness made the abbey a major pilgrimage centre. In 1283, King Edward I assembled his parliament at the abbey. From this assembly originates the United Kingdom's modern House of Commons in London. As with many English abbeys and churches, life at Shrewsbury Abbey was brought to an end by King Henry VIII's dissolution of the monasteries in 1540. Whilst the abbey fell into disrepair, it did survive as a parish church. In the early 1800s, the great engineer Thomas Talfourd demolished part of the abbey in order to construct a new road linking Wales with London. It is part of this road we are currently travelling on. In 1977, Shrewsbury Abbey was the basis of Ellis Peters' first book, featuring the character Brother Cadfael. A further 20 books and TV drama series based on the abbey later followed. The hotel. The hotel was one of the principal coaching hotels in the country before the railways arrived in Shrewsbury in the 19th century, putting most of the main stagecoach routes out of business. One infamous stagecoach rider was Samuel Hayward, who, because of his celebrity, would draw a crowd when they knew he was coming. Hayward would come up the hill at great speed with his carriage and turn full circle at the top into the entrance without slowing down, his wheels having only inches to spare and never ever hitting the sides of the buildings or mountain walkways. Over the years, many other riders haven't managed this and ended up wearing down the sides of the entrance arch of the hotel, damage which can still be seen today. Standing in front of the old market hall is the monument dedicated to Robert Clive, better known as Clive of India. Born near Market Drayton, North Shropshire, in 1725, he was the son of a lawyer. Clive was a difficult child and had a reputation as the head of a gang that taunted teachers at school. At the age of 19, he set sail from Madras, working for the East India Company. Shortly after arriving there, he enlisted in the army and gained a reputation as a skilled soldier, and he was quickly promoted through the ranks. In 1760, Clive returned to Britain and became interested in politics. He became the Member of Parliament for Shrewsbury. However, in 1774, Clive was accused of fraud, having acquired a personal wealth to the dishonour and detriment of the state. A year later, on the 22nd of November 1775, Clive was believed to have committed suicide, although the actual cause of death still remains a mystery.